Welcome to our final foundation explainer. Now that we've mapped out that big layer cake of frameworks and federal laws in our previous sessions, we're going to zero in specifically on California today. We're looking at exactly how mandatory state requirements sit right on top of those overarching governance frameworks, and how you can seamlessly weave them all together. But before we get into the weeds, let's just ground ourselves in why we're actually doing this. As a California nonprofit, our mission is to build a practical, community-focused pathway to help nonprofits, legal aid orgs, and clinics move from confusion to governed action. Because let's be real, AI compliance can feel totally overwhelming, especially when your resources are already stretched thin serving the public. So our goal today is to take the mystery out of this process and give you actionable, structured steps to govern your AI tools with total confidence. All right, let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with a quick welcome to AI governance, wade through California's regulatory alphabet soup, check out the LADA to control heat map, unpack the core plus overlay approach, look at national and global readiness, and wrap up with a practical compliance tool you can actually use. First up, California's regulatory alphabet soup. So, if you're operating a clinic or nonprofit right here in the state, you are no doubt facing an absolute alphabet soup of new mandates and privacy laws. Today, we will map mandatory California regulations like AB 3030, AB 489, and SB 942, alongside privacy heavyweights like the CCPA and CPRA, directly to specific NIST, RMF, and ISO controls. I know, just hearing that list can induce a little compliance fatigue, but each of these represents very specific, legally binding rules around transparency, data privacy, and AI usage that your organization has to follow. Now, with all these hyper-specific rules piling up, the natural question you're probably asking is, do we seriously need to build an entirely separate compliance program just for California law? I mean, it's a daunting thought. Nobody wants one massive binder for NIST, another one for ISO, and a third, completely separate binder just to handle California's AB 3030 and CPRA. Which brings us to the law to control heat map. The incredibly empowering answer to that question is a resounding no. You do not need to start from scratch. As you view the law to control heat map, notice how state requirements integrate smoothly into the frameworks you already have. Let's look at a real-world example. If AB 3030 requires transparency in patient communications for your clinic, the heat map shows you exactly which NIST govern or ISO operation control satisfies that exact legal requirement. This proves that you don't need a separate program for California law. You just need to map it correctly to your core framework. When you hit that NIST or ISO control, boom, you are simultaneously checking the box for AB 3030. It's incredibly efficient. Let's look at the core plus overlay approach. This mapping perfectly illustrates why California requirements simply sit right on top of your existing governance foundations. Instead of building an isolated, fragile compliance silo every time Sacramento or Washington passes a new law, you confidently adopt this core plus overlay portfolio approach. Think of it like building a house. The core is your robust foundational framework, like NIST RMF or ISO. The overlay is the specific local law, like CCPA or SB 942, acting like the paint and fixtures. Because your core framework is already structurally sound, you simply overlay the specific California definitions and thresholds right onto it. It simplifies your compliance and saves your team a ton of administrative headaches. Moving on to national and global readiness. Obviously, we're focusing on California today, but AI is a totally borderless technology, right? By structuring your governance with this layered method, scaling from local California practice to national or even global readiness becomes a completely natural progression. You establish your solid core framework, you overlay your state or federal layers, and ultimately you build a comprehensive portability playbook. Because everything maps back to a universally recognized core. If your nonprofit expands across state lines, or if a new federal AI law drops tomorrow, you aren't starting over. You just slot in a new overlay. It makes your compliance program highly dynamic. And finally, your practical compliance tool. We don't just want to talk about theory today. We want to hand you the exact tools to put all of this into governed action right now. To connect your legal requirements to your governance framework, you'll want to download the CA Compliance Crosswalk. This tool is absolutely essential for proving to regulators and boards that your AI system is legally sound. If a board member suddenly asks how you're handling AB 489, you don't have to scramble. You just pull up the crosswalk and show them precisely which operational controls guarantee your compliance. It literally translates legal mandates into operational reality. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Make sure to check the description to download the CE Compliance Crosswalk, and then go ahead and proceed to the next module to keep building out your AI governance foundation. But before you click away, I want to leave you with this to chew on. As you look at your own organization's AI systems today, ask yourself, are you wasting precious time building isolated, fragile silos of compliance for every new law that pops up? Or are you ready to build a dynamic, portable framework that scales effortlessly with the future of AI? The choice is yours, but with the tools we've covered today, you are absolutely ready to build the latter. Catch you in the next module.